Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So, real quick, I want to explain why I haven't been posting and all that. So, first of all, I just graduated high school yesterday. So that has taken up a lot of my time, finishing up finals and all that. I've been trying to look for jobs, and it's also taken up some of my time. And the rest of it has just been training. And to be honest, I've been kind of burnt out on posting and editing full-length videos. So, that's the main reason. I've been working on reels. I started making some reels, so you guys can go check that out at my Instagram. The link is in the description. It's just my name, so I think they're pretty good. But yeah, this video is 2 races. So it's the Lacrosse Omnium crit and then the Derby City Omnium the first day, which is also a crit. I didn't post the time trial at Lacrosse or the road race because the time trial was 8 minutes long, and I didn't want to, record an 8-minute TT that was just uphill. It was really boring. And the road race, I forgot to press start on my GoPro. So that's the reason that's not on this video. But yeah, that's kind of the scoop. So yeah, we'll get into the video. Okay, so this is the Lacrosse Omnium crit. So this is the start, and I feel like this is the theme. I missed my clip in, so I was already on the back foot from the start. But it's alright because this is a pretty long crit. It's an hour long, and that means I have plenty of time to move up because the race isn't going to be full gas from the start. So I just want to take you guys through the first lap here, kind of show you what the course looks like. We just went over a little speed bump that's going to be kind of influential in the race. Come through the first corner, and you can pedal through that at full speed. At the back, people weren't pedaling and they were hitting the brakes, so I start to move up a little bit here, and that's just kind of the theme for the whole race. I start to move up just slowly, really working on staying in the draft. I'm behind a guy right here that I'm getting a very good draft off of because he has a lot wider frame than I do. This is a headwind in the back straight here, and this is the longest straight on the course, and it went for a solid while, so it would not be a great course for a breakaway. That doesn't really matter in this race. I'll explain that, but that's just kind of like, the basic sense of a crit. If there's a long straight, then the breakaways will not be as successful. So coming into the final corner here, go over a little bit of cobbles, and then down a little off camber turn, and this is the finishing straight. So that is a full lap. We're coming into the finish here, so I guess not quite a full lap yet, but I will skip forward a little bit to a little more interesting part of the video, or I guess of the race, and then explain to you guys the strategy and everything. So this is a little bit later in the race. This is the North Star Devo guy on the front. He's kind of looking around, and some guys come up from the left, and then they slow up. That's Halen on the left, and I decided to shoot the gap and try a little attack. So I attack here, hit that speed bump, and my back wheel bucks, and I get a little bit airborne. That's a little sketchy, but I am continuing to put the power on up this little climb here, and I get a little bit of a gap here actually. So I'm going to start to roll it and see where it goes. I'm trying to stay as aero as possible here, and unfortunately this doesn't last a very long time. I end up getting brought back about a lap later. You could see there are 1 or 2 guys up the road there, 1 guy up the road that I'm going to catch right here, and then it all comes back together, and I get to recover a little bit before the next attack goes. Okay, so this is actually just when I get brought back here, and you can see the Indigo guy on the left with Halen on his wheel, and he puts in a little move there. 1 guy's still up the road, and that is the breakaway. So they end up getting away. They get like a minute gap. They get close to lapping the field. And me and Zane decide that we're not going to do any work because, Halen's in the breakaway. So we're just going to sit in for the sprint and see where it goes. Okay, so this is the final lap. So I skip forward a lot, but nothing else really interesting happened. So you can see I'm starting to move my way up here. I don't want to be too far forward, because that'll just be stuck on the front, but I don't want to be in a bad position in the back and then get caught behind a split or something. So Zane is finishing his pole. He was just trying to keep the pace high because he said he didn't have a sprint, and I didn't blame him because the race was super hard. But I'm just going to play this full lap and see, and kind of tell you guys what my strategy and everything was. So coming up into the second corner here, I'm in the perfect spot. I just don't want to lose any more positions. You can see Carl Boquist on the left there did a move and got through that gap there, and I should have followed that. I should have, kind of held my position or be more aggressive and should have held that position, because then I'd be, up farther up the road without having to do this little extra effort here to move back into the draft. And it's those little things that can really affect your finish into a race. So around that second to final corner, and this guy on the left, he ends up taking the inside line, and I should have, moved my way out and held that, but I didn't, and we start the sprint, and nobody comes around me on the line, but I also don't catch anybody except for the dude on the right here. I catch him right on the line, and I end up getting 12th on the day, which, not the best result, but I'm still learning how to sprint and everything, pretty new to the sport. So I was happy with it. Halen got 4th. He got 4th from the breakaway, and just super stoked for him. He ended up getting 2nd on the Omnium for the overall on the weekend, because he got 2nd in the TT. I think he got 8th in the road race and then 12th in the crit. And yeah, ended up pretty well. So that was the first day, or I guess the final day of Lacrosse Omnium, first part of this video. So next we'll go on to the Derby City Omnium, and I will talk about my strategy for that one, and hopefully it'll be a little more entertaining for you guys. So let's go to that one.
Gentlemen, no way start your on the whistle. And they're off, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so Shawnee Park at the Derby City Omnium. So I'm just going to go through this first lap here like I usually do and kind of explain things. So big teams in this race: Al Dente Cycling, they are the red kit up on the front, I guess orange with a little bit of green. And then another big one is Next Gen, which is on the left here. He's just coming into frame, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Al Dente guys, and we are the third biggest team at this Omnium, so we have a little bit of responsibility to do some of the work, but that also means that we can kind of piggyback off of the work of Next Gen and Al Dente in our sprints. And speaking of sprints, that was the plan for today. So I was the designated sprinter, and Owen and Zane would be lead out guys, and we were really practicing on, getting the lead out down for future races. And I won't spoil anything, but it turned out pretty well with our lead out. So going into the first, I wouldn't really call it a corner because there aren't corners on this course, but the first bend, I guess, besides the first one. So I guess the second one, my bad. There's a little bit of a tailwind right now. The wind wasn't super crazy on this day, so that means on the back straight here it'll be a headwind, and that's also a pretty important part because the back straight is longer than the front straight. So breakaways, you can see them the entire time on the course pretty much, which definitely discourages people from trying that. And no breakaways go today. It is a sprint, but it doesn't mean that people don't try. So I will kind of show you guys some of that in the future here, just a few minutes later. This race was not very long. I think it was 40 minutes, and that meant that it was pretty full gas after people started getting comfortable. Owen's still in the front, Zane on the back. He's just chilling, saving his energy, and I don't blame him because I should have been doing the same thing, especially in this headwind section here, because you could save a lot of energy by sitting at the back. Real quick, I'm using a 360 camera, so let me know what you guys think. I would turn it around some, but there's like really small black dots at the top and the bottom. I'll just show you guys that right now. Coming into the downhill section here, so Zane on the right here with his brand new tarmac. So it's pink. It's super pretty in my opinion. I didn't like it at first, but it's kind of growing on me now. Anyway, that is a Suples Velo guy on the left. He has a Marion helmet. I don't think he's on Marion, but I mean, whatever. He has a pretty similar bike to mine, actually. It looks like a Specialized, and it looks like close to the same paint job as mine, which I think is pretty cool. So blue shirt or blue jersey in the front, that is Anwar Eden. He is another friend of ours, and it was kind of fun to get to race with guys that I know instead of going into fields that, I just have no idea who anybody is. I like to have some sort of familiarity. So coming into the finishing straight here, you can start the sprint right after the downhill, and it's a pretty long sprint, but you're going fast enough that it kind of evens things out. So that was the first lap. I'll skip forward a little bit to a little more interesting part and show you guys some of that. So just a little bit later in the race, there's a next gen guy on the front, and I decided to put in a little move here and catch him by surprise. And this was for a preem, so I ended up getting the preem. It was for oatmeal cream pies, so that was pretty fun. But that wasn't my main goal. My main goal was to start a breakaway, which, spoiler alert, it didn't work. But I figured I'd try since I'm a pretty good time trialist. So just rolling off the front here, I ended up getting about a 5 or 6 second gap. And then some of the guys got on the front and decided they want me back because I'm one of the white space guys, and there's a few other white space guys in the race, so they're going to mark me. But there's no shame in trying. So that was pretty much my only attack of the race. And then after this, I sat in and waited for the sprint. Okay, so final lap. So at this point, we are in great position. Zane's on the front of the lead out, and then Owen, and then me. Unfortunately, one of the Al Dente guys goes off the front and does a solo move, and you see Al Dente on the front with Nexogen, and Al Dente was just going to block. So we were kind of, we weren't forced to chase because Nexogen was going to chase, but we kind of made the decision to chase, which I think was, kind of, I don't know what's called, just not very smart. We should have waited a little longer before we did any work. But a little bit of motivation there from me. That's neither here nor there. So then Zane pulls off, Owen starts, and our plan was to, me and Owen are both going to attack at the same time and do like a TTT. But unfortunately, we kind of miscommunicated, and he kind of let off the attack and then built it back up, which allowed the field to catch us. So we're going to catch this single guy off the front here, and I knew that it was gonna come down to a sprint, but I wanted to give it a try. So I just go all out here, get in the hoods as low as I can get in the hoods, and catch a little bit of a draft off that guy, sprint past him. And at this point, I'm just going all out, and unfortunately, the whole field is behind me. I'm dragging the whole field along. So this was a completely useless effort, but it happens. I'm still, like I said before, I'm still learning. My time will come, but I'm just gonna keep staying patient and keep racing the way I know how to race. So this is Tyler Sasser attacking around me. Super nice guy, but he saw that I was slowing down. I talked to him after the race, and he said this was his final move. So again, I should have waited for the field to bring him back, but I didn't. I pulled him back myself, and at this point, I couldn't even see straight. I was, just full gas. And then the Team Wisconsin guy comes around me. He wasn't racing for Team Wisconsin, but so going into the finish here, I was just dead. I had nothing for the sprint, so I ended up like 12th, I think. So not a very good day on the bike, but we move forward and we keep working. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.